Welcome back everybody to the final part of qualifying here for the Talk Titans Racing League Tier 3 here tonight, as we're here at Imola for the second round of the season. We're just on our first hour laps here for this final part of qualifying. We just had the first two parts. It was a wet Q1, mixed conditions Q2, and here looks like the sun has finally come out here for the final part of qualifying, and we're going to see the utmost pace that these drivers have to offer here for the top 10 who have made it through. Saw Jordan Hillier doing a good lap in Q2 a few moments ago, but plenty of other drivers who are going to be looking to try and put it at the front of the grid here for this second round of the season. There's Shane, one of the league admins here, coming through towards the hairpin at the end of the first sector. As I just realised that when you have a full qualifying, you actually do have to load up the graphics every time in between sessions. Apologies guys, the first and second parts weren't recorded or weren't commentated. I'm basically feeling incredibly rough tonight, but nonetheless we're here trying to provide as much of a show as I can for the guys watching this back in the league afterwards. But yeah, just not feeling well at all, but hopefully we're going to get through this. Hopefully you'll be watching this video afterwards, because at this point of recording I really don't know whether or not I'm going to get to the end of this. But anyway, Shane coming out the final corner and up towards the line. Let's see what he can put on the board here as he comes over and does a 1:15.0 to kick things off. Jordan Hillier coming through towards the end of the lap right now. We got Pfister out there, as well as Joe Louis, who's coming through the final corner. Let's see what these guys can do. Jam over a 1:16.2, a little way adrift, well, quite a way adrift. Richie Chapper goes into second place. Joe Louis into second now, ahead of Richie. What about Jordan? What is Jordan able to do here? Up towards the line comes Jordan Hillier, and he's well adrift there. 1.2 seconds off of Shane's fastest time. So Shane setting the pace after the first runs by just 0.2 of a second over Joe Louis in second place, as we've got Richie Chapper here coming through the first sector. Appears to still be pushing. Oh no, he's not. He's backed out. He's nearly a second off of his previous best, so he's backed off. Looked like car to me like he was still pushing it, but I don't think he is. Pretty sure he isn't actually. Pfister's coming out the last corner now. What is Pfister able to do is we see over the line 1:16.9. HRV Thomas into 7th. Noble Grub there, a long way off. That's probably not a representative time there from Noble Grub. Invades out there at the moment as Salates go to the line. P4 there for Salates, currently 0.7 off for the fastest time. Got RSF1 Invade here coming through the middle sector of the lap, up the top of the hill, the highest point on the circuit there, I reckon. It's got to be, or maybe not actually, maybe this bit up here is, but anyway, Invade coming towards the end of the middle sector. Let's keep it on the top right hand corner, see where we are in relation. Well, we don't know because Invade hasn't done a lap time, and obviously doesn't show you the lap times in relation to the fastest driver. It only shows you the driver's personal best sectors. But Invade here coming down the hill towards Ravazza. We saw a little mistake coming out of the chicane a few corners ago, but Invade up towards the line. What's the time going to be? 1:16.7 there from Invade. So that's everyone putting a time on the board there, but Noble Grub, I think, probably is still yet to do a representative lap time here. But it's Shane from Joe Louis with Richie Chapper and Salates, the top 4 after the first runs here. Salates here has gone for another lap. So Salates has gone for a cool down and is now going for another lap here. So let's keep an eye here, see if Salates has managed to get the tyres in a good window to the end of the first sector. Wow, 2/10 up. So Salates has kept the tyres in good nick here. And I wonder maybe if there was a mistake on that first run, and now we're trying to find a bit of an improvement here, or maybe just a unique way of keeping performance in the tyres. But Salate Stirac and Minerale, keep an eye on the top right hand corner, because this looks to be pretty quick lap so far here from the Ferrari. Here we come, half a second up through the middle sector. If Salates can find 2 more tenths in the final sector, this is going to be pole position here for Salates. As here we come then down the hill towards Ravazza, with 5 minutes left on the clock. Maybe we'll see another lap here if we can do a quick in lap, but after this. But Salates here coming out at the final corner, towards the line we go. And what is the time going to be? It is going to be P2 for Salate, so misses out there by 0.04 of a second. That was tantalisingly close there. I thought we were going to get into the 1 minute 14s there, but it wasn't to be. But Salate's there on the front row provisionally, but needs to have a quick in lap here to get back into the pits and maybe, just maybe, get out in time for another run here. But Salate's with a very, very quick lap indeed there. But we'll be cutting it fine if we go for another lap, but we'll definitely get the best track conditions, because it would literally be a last ditch effort if Salates were to go for another lap here. As we see Jam out onto the track here, and we're going to see a few more drivers, I reckon, getting themselves out onto the circuit in a moment as well. But for those who have obviously knocked out in Q1, they're going to be sat there for a long time at this point. I haven't seen this in league racing actually. It's the first time I've seen a league which has done this 3-part knockout session that they do in real life F1. So I'll be interested to see, because I mean, you know, being sat there for sort of half hour, 40 minutes, not doing a whole lot, kind of takes you out of the mindset a little bit. You know, I'll be surprised if it doesn't lead to more sort of chaos at the beginning of a race. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I wonder if guys who are knocked out in the first part maybe leave the server, do a bit of a practice, and kind of join back before the end. I don't know if you can do that. I know that if you disconnect during a race, then you can, obviously AI takes control and you can join back and retake control. But I wonder how it works if you get knocked out in qualifying, if you can just leave the session, do a bit of a practice and then get back in. I don't know how it works. I've never been in that situation. But anyway, Jam coming down the long straight towards turn 1. Currently P5 in this session at the moment. We've got Joe Louis out on the track as well as Jordan Hillier. As Joe Louis coming through the chicane, coming into the final sector now down towards Ravazza. Jordan Hillier, long way to go until the end of the lap, but Jam here through the first sector checkpoint, or has just gone past the first sector checkpoint, so not sure what the time is at the moment, but Jam up to the top of the hill and looked to carry nice speed through there. Didn't take too tight of an entry, obviously can spit you out the apexes of some of these corners. The green painted surfaces can be quite troublesome, but Jam coming through to the end of this middle sector, 6 tenths up through that part of the lap. That will put him currently in 4th place ahead of Richie Chapper as things stand. Can Jam find a few more tenths here and get maybe ahead of Joe Louis, potentially even trouble the top 2? Here we go then, Jam through the final 2 corners, Ravazza 1 and 2, out onto the start finish straight we come for the V-carb. And Jam over the line. What's it going to be? Oh, it's going to be tantalisingly close to P2 there. 5 thousandths of a second off of Salates, and Jam there, 1:15.1. That will, I think, be Jam's last run of the session here, as we've got Joe Louis now coming up the hill towards the chicane. And he's currently 2 tenths up, as that would currently put him on pole here. So Joe Louis on an absolute flyer. Was that track limits on the exit of the chicane? If it wasn't, then Joe Louis could potentially have just bagged P1 in qualifying here for this Imola Grand Prix here at the Torque Titans Racing League here for Tier 3. Here we come to the final corner now. Joe Louis is going to get a bit of slipstream here off of the car ahead as well. Up towards the line we go. I'll be surprised if this isn't pole, to be honest. Joe Louis, oh, he does miss out. He improves by 6 hundredths of a second, so misses out by a tenth of a second. Currently a tenth separating the top 4 drivers at the moment. It is oh so close here in this session, but Jam and Joe Louis have done their laps. They're not going to improve anymore. Shane, the provisional pole sitter, has retired from the session, so we're not going to see any further improvement here from Shane. Jordan over the line goes into 5th place, sorry. So Jordan there improves massively, but couldn't improve enough to put it on P1 there. It's currently 2/10 off of the provisional pole time. I don't think Invade or Fister or HRV Thomas, Noble Grub, I don't think, well actually I don't know about Noble Grub because we don't know what his real pace is like. As we come through the final part of the lap, a little bit deep there through that chicane, bit of a lock up, that would have cost a bit of speed there. Where is Richie Chapper on the track? Richie Chapper's just starting a lap, currently 6/10 off at the provisional pole time in P6, so a lot of work to do. Here comes Noble Grub then, out of the last corner. What sort of lap time are we on here for Noble Grub? Over the line we go, and it's P10 there, so in fact P8, sorry, so the timing board in the top right hand corner doesn't actually tell the full story here, but Richie Chapper I think is going to be the only driver realistically in with a chance here of taking pole, because I think everybody else has crossed the line already here. So here comes the Williams down the hill towards Aqua Minerale once again, looking to be on the limit here is Richie Chapper down towards the final chicane we come, 4/10 up. So this could be P1 here. This could very well be pole position here for Richie Chapper if he can just find a couple more tenths in this final sector here. As here we come then through the final couple of corners now. And Richie Chapper out onto the start-finish straight, keeping it within track limits, just about there, up towards the line. It's going to be close here. Richie Chapper to the line, and it is P1 here for Richie Chapper. Takes pole by 600ths of a second. Great lap there at the end of the session. Well done to Richie Chapper. And now that is just an incredibly close qualifying session there, but it's from Richie Chapper all the way down to Invade. 9/10 separating the entire field here, but Richie Chapper taking pole ahead of Shane in second with Salace and Jam. As we see a lot of the drivers who have knocked out of previous sessions jumping in here, so I think that answers the question that I was posing a few moments ago. You tend to see people who have been knocked out in the first and second stages generally jump out, do a bit of practice in time trial or whatever, maybe a quick practice lobby, and then getting back into the session for the end. But that is that then for the qualifying session here for the Imola Grand Prix. So it's Richie on pole ahead of Shane with Salace and Jam completing the top two rows there. Joe Louis ahead of Jordan Hillier with Fister, HRV Thomas, Noble Grub and Invade completing the top 10 shootout. And that is going to be the race coming up. If you're watching in the playlist at the end of the season, then next video is the race. If you're watching this and you're waiting for the race to upload, then keep an eye out on the Discord. It'll be up very, very soon indeed.